Jake Thompson leaned back in his ergonomic chair, the soft glow of his computer screen illuminating his face in the dim light of his San Francisco apartment. The city buzzed outside, but inside, it was a world of creativity and comfort. Jake, a witty graphic designer in his late 20s, thrived in this sanctuary filled with art supplies, music posters, and the faint scent of coffee. His boyfriend, Alex Rivera, was a passionate musician with an infectious energy that could light up any room. With tousled dark hair and a smile that could melt hearts, Alex often filled their home with melodies from his guitar. The couple had been together for 2 years, navigating the ups and downs of life with humor and affection. One evening, after a long day at work, Jake found himself scrolling through various videos online. He stumbled upon straight adult content, something he rarely indulged in but felt curious about. The thrill of the taboo piqued his interest, and he lost track of time. Unbeknownst to him, Alex had just returned from band practice. As he walked into their shared space, the sound of Jake's laughter echoed through the apartment. Alex's heart raced with excitement to see Jake enjoying himself, but that excitement quickly turned to confusion as he glanced at the screen. Jake. Alex's voice cut through the atmosphere like a knife. Jake's face turned crimson as he spun around in his chair, realizing he had been caught red-handed. I can explain. Jake stammered, panic rising in his chest. The tension crackled in the air as they faced each other, their relationship hanging delicately in the balance. The air in the apartment felt charged, heavy with unspoken words and emotions. Jake's heart raced as he tried to gauge Alex's reaction. The initial shock on Alex's face morphed into a mixture of confusion and hurt, and Jake could see the wheels turning in his boyfriend's mind. "Why were you watching that?" Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper, but the weight of the question hung heavily between them. He crossed his arms defensively, a gesture Jake recognized all too well. It was the armor Alex wore when he felt vulnerable. "I don't know," Jake replied, running a hand through his hair, his mind racing for a way to explain himself. "I guess I was just curious. It's not like it means anything." "Not like it means anything," Alex echoed incredulously, stepping closer. "You're telling me you're watching straight videos while I'm out there trying to make music. What does that say about us?" Jake felt a pang in his chest at the accusation. "It doesn't mean I'm not attracted to you. You know how much I love you, right?" He took a step forward, trying to bridge the emotional gap that had suddenly widened between them. Alex's expression softened for a moment, but doubt flickered in his eyes. "But why that? Why not something we can enjoy together? It feels like you're hiding something from me." The truth was that Jake had never intended for this to happen. In their relationship, they had always been open about their desires and fantasies, but this felt different, more personal. The thought of Alex feeling inadequate gnawed at him. "I wasn't hiding anything," Jake insisted, his voice rising slightly in frustration. I thought it would be a harmless distraction. I didn't think it would upset you like this." Alex shook his head, running a hand through his own hair in frustration. "You don't get it. It's not just about the videos, it's about what they represent. Am I not enough for you? Do you want something different?" Jake felt his heart sink at the implication. "No, that's not it at all." He moved closer to Alex, desperate to convey the depth of his feelings. "You're everything to me. I love you more than anything." The two stood inches apart, their emotions swirling like a tempest around them. Jake reached out tentatively, brushing his fingers against Alex's arm. "I'm sorry if this made you feel insecure. It wasn't my intention." Alex looked down at Jake's hand before meeting his gaze again, vulnerability etched across his face. "It just makes me wonder if there are parts of you that I don't know about, parts that I can't reach." Jake took a deep breath, realizing that this confrontation was more than just about the videos, it was about trust and communication in their relationship. "Maybe we need to talk more openly about our fantasies and desires," he suggested gently. "Maybe," Alex replied, still uncertain but willing to consider it. As they stood there in silence, both men realized they had reached a crossroads in their relationship, a moment where honesty could either build them up or tear them apart. Just then, a strange glimmer caught Jake's eye from across the room, a small antique box he had picked up at a flea market weeks ago but had yet to open. It sat on their coffee table like an unassuming relic of the past. "What's that?" Alex asked, breaking the tension as he glanced over at the box. I don't know, Jake admitted with a slight chuckle, trying to lighten the mood. I thought it looked cool. As they both approached the box, curiosity replaced some of the tension between them. Little did they know that this seemingly innocuous object would soon turn their world upside down. Jake and Alex exchanged glances, their earlier confrontation momentarily forgotten as they focused on the antique box. It was small, intricately carved with swirling patterns that seemed to dance in the dim light of the apartment. Jake felt a strange pull toward it, as if it held more than just dust and memories. Should we open it? Alex asked, his curiosity piqued despite the lingering tension between them. Why not? Jake replied, a hint of excitement creeping into his voice. He carefully lifted the lid, revealing a collection of odd trinkets, a tarnished compass, a delicate silver key, and a small, ornate mirror. But what caught their attention was a shimmering crystal nestled at the bottom. Wow, Alex breathed, reaching in to touch it. The moment his fingers brushed against the crystal, a warm glow enveloped both men, and they felt an electric jolt surge through their bodies. What the? Jake started, but before he could finish his sentence, a blinding light filled the room. The world around them spun wildly, colors blending into a kaleidoscope of confusion. When the light finally faded, Jake blinked rapidly, trying to regain his bearings. He looked around and realized something was profoundly different. The familiar contours of their apartment felt strangely distant. He glanced down at himself and gasped. Alex. He called out, but his voice sounded different, deeper and more resonant. Panic surged through him as he looked into the nearby mirror. Staring back was Alex's reflection, complete with tousled hair and wide eyes filled with shock. Jake. Alex's voice echoed from behind him. Jake turned to see his own body standing there, bewildered and equally horrified. What just happened? Jake exclaimed in Alex's body. His heart raced as he processed the reality of their situation. They had somehow swapped bodies. I don't know. This is insane, Alex shouted from Jake's body, running a hand through his hair in disbelief. What did that box do? Jake took a deep breath to calm himself. Okay, we need to figure this out. He walked over to Alex, his own body, and tried to maintain eye contact despite the surreal nature of it all. What do we do now? Alex paced nervously around the room. We need to find a way to switch back. What if we're stuck like this forever? Jake felt a wave of empathy wash over him as he watched Alex's anxiety unfold in real time. Let's think logically, he suggested. Maybe there's something in that box that can help us. They both approached the box again, examining its contents more closely this time. The compass seemed to spin erratically as if searching for something. The silver key glimmered enticingly in the light, but it was the mirror that caught Jake's attention once more. What if this mirror shows us how to reverse whatever just happened? He proposed. Alex nodded eagerly. It's worth a shot. They picked up the mirror together and held it up between them. As they gazed into its reflective surface, images began to swirl within it, flashes of their lives intertwined with glimpses of moments they had shared. Laughter over dinner, late-night jam sessions, tender kisses under starlit skies. But then the images shifted abruptly, revealing shadows of insecurities and doubts, fears that had lingered beneath their love but had never been voiced. I didn't realize you felt that way, Alex said softly from Jake's body, his expression shifting from panic to understanding as he recognized some of his own vulnerabilities mirrored back at him. I thought you were always confident, Jake responded in Alex's voice, feeling a pang of regret for not having communicated better about their feelings. The mirror pulsed with energy as if responding to their emotional revelations. Suddenly, they were engulfed in light again, this time warm and inviting rather than blindingly bright. Wait, what's happening? Alex shouted just before everything went dark for a fleeting moment. When they regained their senses, they found themselves back in their bodies but standing in an entirely different location, a bustling cafe filled with people chatting and laughter ringing through the air. What just happened? Jake asked breathlessly as he looked around at the unfamiliar surroundings. I think we're still stuck in each other's lives, Alex replied slowly, taking in the scene before them. We need to figure out how to navigate this, together. As they stood there amidst the clatter of cups and chatter of patrons, both men realized that this unexpected twist had opened up new avenues for understanding each other on a deeper level than ever before. Jake and Alex stood in the bustling cafe, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloping them like a warm hug. It was a stark contrast to the emotional whirlwind they had just experienced. The cafe, known for its eclectic decor and vibrant atmosphere, was a favorite spot for locals and artists alike. As they took in their surroundings, a sense of urgency settled in. "Okay, we need to figure out how to get back," Jake said, trying to sound more confident than he felt. "But first, we have to survive each other's lives." Alex nodded, his expression serious. "Right, let's start with my day. I have a rehearsal later for that gig at the Blue Note." Jake felt a flutter of nerves at the thought of stepping into Alex's shoes, literally and figuratively. "What do I need to know?" "Just be yourself," Alex replied, though his voice wavered slightly. "And try not to mess up my guitar solo." He chuckled nervously, but Jake could see the worry behind his smile. "Got it," Jake said with a grin, trying to ease the tension. "Let's do this." As they left the cafe, Jake felt the weight of Alex's life settle on his shoulders. He had always admired Alex's confidence on stage but had never fully understood the pressure that came with it. They made their way to the rehearsal space, a small studio tucked away in a vibrant part of town. Upon entering, Jake was immediately struck by the energy in the room. Fellow band members were already setting up their instruments, laughter and banter filling the air. He felt an odd mix of excitement and anxiety. This was Alex's world, and he was stepping into it. "Hey, everyone. This is, Alex," Jake said awkwardly, trying to mimic his boyfriend's usual charisma. The band members looked at him curiously but welcomed him with open arms. "Ready for some music?" one of them asked with a playful grin. "Yeah, let's do this," Jake replied, surprising himself with how easily the words flowed out. As they began rehearsing, Jake found himself lost in the rhythm of the music. He strummed along on Alex's guitar, feeling an exhilarating rush as he channeled his boyfriend's passion. The notes danced through him like electricity, and he could see why Alex loved this so much. But as the rehearsal progressed, he also felt the weight of expectations pressing down on him. He stumbled through a few chords that he knew were crucial for the upcoming gig, and he could sense the band's growing impatience. "Come on, man, you've got this," one member encouraged, but Jake could feel his heart racing as doubt crept in. After what felt like an eternity, they took a break. Jake stepped outside for some fresh air, leaning against a wall as he tried to calm his racing thoughts. The sun warmed his face, but inside he felt cold with uncertainty. Meanwhile, back at their apartment, Alex was grappling with Jake's world, one filled with deadlines and creative pressures that seemed foreign to him. He sat at Jake's desk surrounded by sketches and design software that felt overwhelming. "What am I even supposed to do?" he muttered under his breath as he scrolled through Jake's projects on the computer screen. He decided to start by tackling one of Jake's assignments, a branding project for a local bakery. As he delved into it, he found himself appreciating Jake's artistic vision more than ever before. The intricacies of design were challenging but fascinating. Each decision had a ripple effect on how people would perceive the brand. Hours passed as Alex immersed himself in Jake's work. He struggled with color palettes and typography but slowly began to understand the thought process behind each choice. It was exhausting yet exhilarating, much like performing on stage. As evening approached, both men reconvened at home after their respective days filled with challenges and revelations. Jake arrived first, still buzzing from the rehearsal but feeling drained from trying to live up to Alex's expectations. When Alex walked through the door moments later, he looked equally exhausted yet exhilarated from navigating Jake's creative world. "How did it go?" they both asked simultaneously before bursting into laughter at their synchronized question. "It was intense," Jake admitted as he flopped onto the couch. "I get why you love performing so much, it's incredible. But I also see how much pressure you're under." Alex nodded thoughtfully as he sank into an armchair across from him. "And I never realized how much work goes into your designs," he replied earnestly. "I struggled with that branding project all day." They shared stories about their experiences. Jake recounted moments from rehearsal where he had almost faltered but ultimately found his rhythm, while Alex detailed his frustrations with design software that seemed determined to thwart him at every turn. In that moment of vulnerability and honesty, they both realized how much they had taken each other's worlds for granted. They laughed together about their blunders and celebrated their small victories. As they leaned back in comfortable silence, both men felt a newfound appreciation for each other, a deeper understanding that transcended physical attraction or surface level connection. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across their apartment, Jake and Alex settled into a newfound rhythm. The day had been a whirlwind of experiences, each revealing layers of their personalities that had previously remained hidden. They both felt the weight of their earlier confrontation lift, replaced by a sense of unity forged through shared challenges. The next morning, Jake woke up in Alex's body, the sunlight streaming through the window illuminating the room in soft hues. He stretched and took a moment to appreciate the unfamiliar sensations, Alex's longer limbs, the way his hair fell across his forehead. It was strange yet exhilarating. As he got ready for the day, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was stepping into a new chapter of their relationship. After breakfast, they sat together at the kitchen table, sipping coffee and discussing their plans for the day. "I have a gig tonight," Alex said, excitement bubbling in his voice. "It's at the Blue Note, and I want you to come." "Of course. I wouldn't miss it," Jake replied, feeling a mix of pride and anxiety. "But what if I mess up again?" "You won't," Alex reassured him. "Just remember to have fun. You've got this." His confidence was infectious, and Jake felt a surge of determination. As the day unfolded, they both ventured into each other's worlds with renewed enthusiasm. Jake spent the afternoon rehearsing with Alex's band, this time more comfortable in his role. He found himself enjoying the music even more than before, letting go of his fears and embracing the rhythm. The band members cheered him on, their camaraderie lifting his spirits. Meanwhile, Alex dove into Jake's graphic design projects with newfound appreciation. He meticulously worked on the branding project for the bakery, experimenting with colors and fonts that reflected Jake's unique style. Hours flew by as he lost himself in creativity, discovering a passion for design he never knew existed. When evening arrived, both men prepared for their respective events, the gig for Jake and a small showcase for Alex's designs at a local art gallery. They helped each other get ready, sharing tips and encouragement as they navigated their transformed lives. At the Blue Note, Jake felt the electric energy of the crowd as he took the stage with Alex's band. The lights dimmed, and he caught sight of familiar faces in the audience, friends who had come to support him. With each strum of the guitar and every note sung, he felt more like himself than ever before. The music flowed through him, it was exhilarating. Meanwhile, Alex stood at the gallery showcasing Jake's work alongside other artists. He marveled at how people responded to Jake's designs, admiring them, discussing them passionately. It filled him with pride to see how much effort Jake put into his art. After their respective events concluded, they met back at home, both buzzing with excitement and adrenaline. "You were amazing," Jake exclaimed as soon as he walked through the door. "No way. You were incredible," Alex countered, unable to contain his enthusiasm. They collapsed onto the couch together, laughter spilling out as they recounted their experiences from the night. Each story revealed not just what they had accomplished but also how much they had grown in understanding one another. "I never realized how much pressure you're under when you perform," Jake admitted, still riding high from adrenaline. "And I had no idea how creatively fulfilling design could be," Alex replied with a smile. "I think I might want to explore it more." As they talked late into the night about their dreams and aspirations, Jake expressing interest in pursuing music more seriously while Alex considered taking on more design projects, they felt an undeniable bond strengthening between them. In that moment of connection and vulnerability, they both realized that this experience had deepened their love in ways they hadn't anticipated. They were no longer just partners, they were allies navigating life together. The chapter ended with them leaning against each other on the couch, hearts full of hope and excitement for what lay ahead, a journey that would continue to challenge them but also bring them closer than ever before. As the days passed, Jake and Alex settled into their unusual arrangement, each growing more comfortable in the other's life. However, beneath the surface, tensions began to simmer. Jake found himself grappling with the pressure of performing as Alex, while Alex struggled with the creative demands of Jake's graphic design projects. One evening, after a particularly challenging day, they sat on opposite ends of the couch, the air thick with unspoken frustration. Jake broke the silence. "I feel like I'm constantly trying to prove myself on stage. It's exhausting." Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "And I feel like I'm drowning in deadlines and expectations. I didn't realize how hard it is to be you." The vulnerability in their voices hung in the air, and they both recognized that their earlier understanding was slipping away under the weight of their new realities. They needed to confront their insecurities head-on. Maybe we should talk about what we really want, Jake suggested tentatively. Not just in our careers but in our relationship too. Alex nodded slowly, his expression shifting from frustration to contemplation. I've been feeling like I'm not enough for you lately, he admitted quietly. Like you're going to discover something about me that changes everything. Jake's heart ached at Alex's admission. I've felt the same way, he confessed. I love you, but I worry that I'm not living up to your expectations. In that moment of honesty, they both realized how much they had taken each other for granted. They spent hours talking about their dreams and fears, laying bare their vulnerabilities and reaffirming their commitment to one another. As they leaned closer together on the couch, a sense of relief washed over them. They understood that love wasn't just about passion, it was about trust and communication. The following days were filled with a mix of anticipation and anxiety as Jake and Alex continued to navigate each other's lives. They had grown closer through their shared experiences, but the reality of their body swap loomed over them like a shadow. Each night, they would discuss their day, laughing at the mishaps and triumphs, but both secretly yearned to return to their own bodies. One evening, while rummaging through the antique box again, Jake discovered an old parchment hidden beneath the trinkets. It was inscribed with cryptic symbols and a few lines of text that hinted at a way to reverse the swap. Excitement surged through him as he called Alex over. Look at this, Jake exclaimed, holding up the parchment. I think this could be the key to switching back. Alex leaned in closer, squinting at the symbols. What does it say? Jake read aloud. To return to your true form, you must embrace the essence of each other's journey and acknowledge the love that binds you. They exchanged glances, realization dawning on them. This wasn't just about finding a spell, it was about fully understanding and accepting each other's lives, the struggles, the dreams, and the love that had grown between them. Determined to complete this task, they set out to experience one last day in each other's shoes, diving deeper into their respective worlds than ever before. Jake performed at a larger venue that night, channeling everything he had learned from Alex into his music. He felt liberated as he poured his heart into every note. Meanwhile, Alex presented Jake's design project at a local exhibition, captivating the audience with his newfound appreciation for creativity. The applause and recognition filled him with pride as he realized how much Jake's work meant to him. As they returned home that night, both men felt transformed, not just by their experiences but by their deepened connection. They sat together on the couch, reflecting on their journey. I've never felt closer to you, Jake admitted softly. Me too, Alex replied, his eyes shining with sincerity. I think we've finally understood what it means to be each other. With hearts full of love and gratitude, they embraced tightly. In that moment of unity and understanding, a warm glow enveloped them once more, signaling that they were ready for whatever came next. The morning light streamed through the window, illuminating the apartment with a golden hue. Jake and Alex awoke, both feeling an unusual sense of anticipation. They had spent the previous night reflecting on their journey together, and now they sensed that something was about to change. As they prepared for the day, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that today would be pivotal. They sat at the kitchen table, sipping coffee and discussing their plans. Do you think we're ready to try reversing the swap? Jake asked, his heart racing at the thought. I think we are, Alex replied, determination lacing his voice. We've learned so much about each other, and I feel like we truly understand what it means to love one another. With renewed resolve, they gathered the items from the antique box, the crystal, the compass, and the mirror, placing them in front of them on the table. Together, they recited the words from the parchment, focusing on their shared experiences and the love that had blossomed between them. As they spoke, a warm light enveloped them once more. The air crackled with energy as they felt themselves being pulled in different directions. In that moment of vulnerability, they held each other's hands tightly, grounding themselves in their connection. Suddenly, everything went dark for a brief moment before a rush of color filled their vision. When they opened their eyes again, they found themselves back in their own bodies, Jake standing in his familiar form and Alex beside him, looking just as he always did. A wave of relief washed over both of them as they embraced tightly, laughter spilling out as they realized what had just happened. We did it, Jake exclaimed, exhilaration coursing through him. I can't believe it, Alex replied, grinning from ear to ear. We're back. As they pulled away from each other, both men felt a profound sense of gratitude for what they had experienced. They had faced their insecurities and learned to appreciate each other's worlds in ways they never thought possible. That evening, they celebrated their return to normalcy with a cozy dinner at home. They cooked together, playfully teasing each other while reminiscing about their time spent in one another's lives. The bond between them felt stronger than ever, a testament to their love and commitment. The days following their return to normalcy were filled with a renewed sense of purpose and connection for both Jake and Alex. They had emerged from their extraordinary experience with a deeper understanding of each other, and the bond they shared felt unbreakable. One crisp Saturday morning, Jake woke up to the sound of Alex strumming his guitar in the living room. The gentle melodies floated through the apartment, wrapping around him like a warm blanket. He smiled, feeling grateful for the simple joys that came with being together. As he joined Alex, he noticed the sunlight streaming through the window, casting a golden glow over everything. "Good morning, rock star," Jake teased, leaning against the doorframe. "Morning. I was just working on a new song," Alex replied, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "I think it's going to be one of my best yet." Jake sat down beside him on the couch, intrigued. "Can I hear it?" With a nod, Alex began to play, pouring his heart into each note. The lyrics spoke of love and vulnerability, reflecting everything they had experienced during their body swap. Jake listened intently, feeling every word resonate deeply within him. "That's beautiful," Jake said when Alex finished, his voice thick with emotion. "You've really captured what we went through." "Thanks. I wanted to write something that honors our journey," Alex replied, his smile widening. "It's amazing how much we've grown." As the day unfolded, they decided to take a walk through their neighborhood, a ritual they had always enjoyed but now felt even more meaningful. The vibrant colors of autumn leaves danced in the breeze as they strolled hand in hand, sharing dreams and aspirations for the future. "I've been thinking about pursuing music more seriously," Jake admitted as they walked past a park filled with laughter and children playing. "Maybe even writing my own songs." Alex's eyes lit up at the idea. "You should. You have so much talent, and your voice deserves to be heard." "And I want to explore graphic design further," Alex added. "I never realized how fulfilling it could be until I stepped into your shoes." They exchanged excited ideas about collaborating on projects that combined both their passions, music and design, envisioning a future where they could create together. As evening approached, they returned home to prepare for a special dinner date. They cooked side by side in their kitchen, laughter filling the air as they playfully bumped into each other while chopping vegetables and stirring sauces. The warmth of their love enveloped them like a cozy embrace. After dinner, they settled on the couch with glasses of wine, ready to watch a movie. But before they pressed play, Jake turned to Alex with a serious expression. "I've been thinking about how much our relationship has changed," he began. "I want us to continue growing together and supporting each other." Alex nodded, sensing the weight of Jake's words. "Me too. This experience taught me that communication is key, sharing our fears and dreams openly." Jake took a deep breath before continuing. "I want to take this next step with you. I've been thinking about asking you to move in together." The words hung in the air between them like magic. Alex's eyes widened in surprise before a smile broke across his face. "Really? You mean it?" "Absolutely," Jake replied earnestly. "I can't imagine my life without you by my side." Without hesitation, Alex leaned in closer, wrapping his arms around Jake as joy surged through him. "Yes, I'd love that." They embraced tightly, feeling an overwhelming sense of love and excitement for what lay ahead. In that moment, they knew they were ready to face any challenges together, united by their experiences and strengthened by their commitment. As they settled back onto the couch, preparing to enjoy their movie night, Jake couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come since that fateful day when everything changed. The body swap had been an unexpected twist in their lives, but it had ultimately brought them closer than ever. The movie played softly in the background as they cuddled together under a blanket, hearts full of hope for their future. They exchanged soft glances filled with love and understanding, a promise that whatever lay ahead would be faced hand in hand. In that cozy moment, surrounded by warmth and laughter, both men knew that their journey was just beginning, a beautiful adventure fueled by love, trust, and an unbreakable bond that would carry them through anything life threw their way.